Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
We fix Africa.
All right. So far so good at I think say and some no best a force you know wakika boom no unless you were not following. Yeah. If we're following, you know, say what cut up is verse 3 and a boom. And thank you so much. And see, and at the other Ebeshas, yeah, Mano James, thank you. What the me watch me dear Matse, why me da se papa, my Joe, so good morning. And I be Isaac Zion, I pay also my Joe, so Madame Masse, Mode me who ache me ne, Ivan Abadi and say me who atomi. All right. I think from Wednesday, right? Yeah. From Tuesday, that conversation we started here. Say President Mahama say development in the money economy. No said the SCI focus now more no. And yeah, LGBTQ plus the priority. I think this whole thing dragged from is it Lincoln University? Yes, or Bemano Andre Award. Almost say a group of people. Aqua University, Aqua Cultural School, they say, or more a part of the school. I think they could be stakeholders or something. Aqua Cultural School, they say, what much to say, or more person, President Mahama Honorary Award. And that award, they are not in support because President Mahama, on so many occasions, was here LGBTQ. Into a monpenny, and Momfasa award and Emano. Sa conversation, no, and I drag it free more, baby, I do CCA. Ama Ntim for Reverend Ntim for oh, yeah, NP. A minority mo. Wafana World Cup or say, Adiana President Mahama, you know, a politics no the LGBTQ plus bill no cry and no more crump so be sign. And ma on our fellow Osofo so kwache say for now no enya no cry na your minor priority because priority ni say akwan near hospitals near economy near ma atete no na was emotion no mo. But I think the minority had a press conference on it again and they were saying say the government is doing politics with this whole LGBTQ plus.
Yeah, I think that it's funny the sort of country we find ourselves in. And consistently you could see some catches the NPP consistently replace intellectualism with a bit of some sort of idiocy because you see they don't make sense anymore. And it's quite frustrating to see a political party over the years and a man for a title as a party of elite now and are degenerating to the gutters where they almost take argument crying how to argue the point out. Sabaya some fine understanding, you know. They don't. They still think say we are still back in the Stone Age where you can incite emotions, whip sentiments for political expediency, you know. That era is long gone. You see, I was shocked. Mete say yes, a press conference on this particular matter, and it's very embarrassing. It's unfortunate that this gentleman is consistently dragging the NPP into the gutters. That guy,
Reverend Ntim for Joe,
he's just shopping attention. He's an attention-seeking freak. That is what I see. Because was it not the same gentleman who said, "Say, plain beer basi tarmac"? So your friend is saying cocaine in a when he was called not some passy or Janet is like a coward. And such people should not be given any saying seriousness. But it's unfortunate the media we find ourselves in will always give oxygen of publicity to some of this nonsense to glide. First of all, establishing the baseline rule. Ghana Hayati Menewo any obia is against or nobody is in support of this emerging insanity called the LGBT whatever. That is the baseline because our culture everything is against it. But ya also be LGBT we mean to me kwa attack because no na pay. No so but that is his business. But ya see your chrome ha no. E from our culture everything Ghanaian, you know, it's not in line with those emerging insanity never market the cheese or also person call you bad that particular thing. And that is the established conventional red lines I established here. Over the years, prior to Akufo-Addo time, there were some advocacy. A lot of people were involved, asking, say, "Yam pass a certain law. Now you making sure, say, yam rather high. Say no, there are consequences because the existing laws, no, any remedy for those things. The law was pushed to Parliament. Parliament passed, transmitted to the president to sign. they used certain shenanigans and some mind games be just to ensure say the president could not sign that particular bill. At that time, Ntim was walking on the moon, and he didn't see the need to put pressure on his own government, Akufo-Addo, to have that particular bill ascended to. Because I was with the view, say, in the execution of the president mandate as the executive president of Ghana, it's a bill for parliament, but no court can stop him from executing that particular
That's why you live in our court, but he signed.
Exactly. Sign we now issues with data. You can drag the issue back to court because until the president sign because parliament has that exclusive jurisdiction operating within a certain realm or a master of its own or we na president sign we you have issues with data. But these people were able to, flow in a lot of nonsense of a justification to have it blocked. They did not. President Mahama taking over, and let me also say, President Mahama on several occasions, I'm making it quite clear, he does not support LGBTQ+. That has been his consistent position. And to confirm this Lincoln University brouhaha is a tacit confirmation of the fact that the president of the Republic of Ghana natural position is LGBTQ++, and that is the standard way I establish it. So Obi that's or no say President Mahama say LGBTQ+ any priority and for that matter or the other Ghana for no which means say that argument is very poor in logic because first of all say what me sure say why a government paying and know how a bills and then as for go through a certain process you emanate from maybe the executive or private person anywhere interest group whatever. And the bill mrana yakase ya mrano anya parliament na chiro mrawo bill na nkasa originated from elsewhere other than parliament. What parliament will do is they will just look at it, look at the law, situate it within the frame of the constitution and make sure say there are no excesses in that particular provision and contravening with any provisions in the constitution. So the legislation must be carved within the limit of the constitution just to ensure say there are no contraventions or what I say that is it for you. So parliament will have to read and assess it and make sure say go through stages of reading. Now more we are parliament as sign say a real bill no then it will be transmitted to the president to sign. So yen we are press conference me catch us have been a this is what I mean. At this point in time a dear ben President Mahama e sign.
There's nothing.
A dear Ben President Mahama Airquaco science because Cecia Monoka say there is no law. I am ready. There is no bill. Sign. So press conference no more than lesser President Mahama should go and sign a bill. No, dear Ben or Quaco sign because there is nothing. Parliament Nipaya or your comedy. He's a parliamentarian, no, and it is his job to ensure that there is a speedy passage of that particular law. So what pass here we now DBI okay. Nasa what time they come a president now or say sign then you have a genuine concern because at that point it becomes a priority of the president. As it stands now, if the president says that the LGBTQ is not a priority, what he means within the context is that on his table there is nothing like LGBT anything on his table. So how does that thing become a priority? I can't just say common sense is enough incentive to even provoke the uneducated mind to appreciate the president as long as the bill is not on his table for him to assent to, it is not a priority. Because President Mahama so is the LGBT may sign, they no go sign. There is nothing. So it is absolutely childish for anybody to seek to peddle a certain narrative out there. Say president say the priority. Not being a priority is within the context that the bill is not available, the bill is not ready for him to sign. You understand?
Yeah.
Because a bill near ready, bill near way, and then a name, just like it was forwarded to Akufo-Addo. Now say own sign. Then we, because yet you know, we want the bill to be signed. Yeah, Speaker. Warning Speaker of Parliament not to transmit that particular. This insanity went on in this country, and that guy was in this country, and today he has the gut to be doing press conference. And because the politics has become very cheap, but that guy has no credibility to be stand before people and be doing press conferences because he lied when he was being called to come and answer for Sakoke no service termat no. Oh, we are not champagne. Oh, Janet is and such a coward today has a voice telling people what. You understand? So for me, I didn't bust a CR but top president table. So that's also on sign. Then all of us will have our bit to say. But as long as it is not on the table, it is not a priority. And I see say another president will to me to go to parliament and make sure say, hey, Monya bill, Monya and Ntim, Mon pass, or does it start with the president? So where is this joke coming from? And I wonder why the media is unable to put these strong questions before people. Because if the bill is in front of the president, then we can have that conversation. Say, oh, president lied to the people because he says he will do this. He has gone the other way. But when I water parliament, what do you say? This bill will ripe to be forwarded to the president for him to do his bit. One win what dear. And the day and maybe says a day and a president could sign and cram a woman or could sign and that's all could sign Bible. You see, it doesn't make sense. You understand? You see, the poverty of logic and intellect in the way these people argue is so shocking and so amazing. And yeah, I'm so surprised. You see, the future of the NPP is so bleak to the stand, sir. If these are the people who will be managing, leading the party, then they have a long way to go because I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel because these are people, even basic political communication, they are getting it wrong. Basic reasoning, they are getting it wrong. Basic common sense, they are missing it. So there is nothing that the opposition is doing to convince intelligent minds out there that we messed up for 8 good years. We've come back sitting on the sidelines. We want to do things differently. So the MPP you lost trust in today, you know, classified on how to come back as some sort of a reliable entity, but you put up this comedy of an argument. You put up this joke of an argument. The conversation is always about aggression. It is about yen saboteur. We don't care even if we are embarrassing ourselves. It doesn't make sense. For instance, this reparation thing. President Mahama, amidst of all this, yes, Afenyo Markin said, but he forgets that this whole reparation thing, Akufo-Addo was even part of it. At UN, he started some of these things. You understand? At that time, he didn't have any issue with the president Akufo-Addo talking about reparation, but today, because it is President Mahama, he has an issue. So these are minds you cannot take serious. You understand? So for me, I think it's what's in change as a young people. Sometimes I wonder, so politics, in as much as politics, government, and as a form, no. I'm also worried about what young people are consuming because they are consuming nothing dishonesty. They are consuming nothing but double standard. They are consuming nothing but hypocrisy. And these are the basic tenets that characterize your politics. So if you are dishonest, if you are a deceptive character, even if you are not wise, that's okay. You can still be in Ghana politics. You will thrive and triumph well because as long as you have money, you have followers, you will have some people who will argue for you and we get away because sir, as we are making, what is so be at beside this particular guy, this question? Your friend saying,
Reverend Ntim.
What is so be beside this question? Asking President Mahama and you know, me say dear no uncle sign co run and uncle sign Bible.
Also parliament will be.
It is your job to ensure say you fasten the process to have the bill ripen so that the president and that will even put more pressure on the president because once you are done you push it to him. If he doesn't sign, then you have the legitimacy to take the microphone, do press conference, and even in that particular thing, the question is will you have the moral justification to do that if you have a sense of shame? Because we've gone through that same channel and Akufo-Addo. He declined to sign. Even if it comes tomorrow and President Mahama decide not to sign, will you have the moral justification to even blame him? So these are shameless bunch of individuals who should not be taken serious. The things being in opposition is all about young criticize and that is very childish. That is very embarrassing. Because in this time and age, you cannot win political power with this kind of thing. Because my culture says, you see, you can never win power on the weaknesses of your opponent. You can only win on your strength.
Yeah.
And if you think, say, being around sabotaging, being around throwing negativity, being around, you forget that the basic things Ghanaians are looking at is the economy.
Yeah.
Now, no matter say, yes, I could be a communication director. Or say, President Mahama is constructing road as if your friend say road is everything. Really?
That is what they did in 2016.
The whole communication director of a political party would take a center stage and say this. Development there, but these people declared a year of roads
2 times,
which they did nothing. But today it's visible. I told you the last time I went to Drobo, and you all started from Kumasi to Sunyani, from Sunyani to Brekum to Drobo to Sampa Road. It's under construction. Currently, contractors are on the road. And there are several other paths. It's not a lie. You go there, you see them, people are working. You understand? And they have issue with that. President Mahama decided to build an express road from Kumasi to Accra. These jokers have issue with it. So what kind of people? That is what I'm telling you. So you see, it's not an accident. That is their character. Because when Kwame Nkrumah was busy fighting for independence, these people, their forefathers visited the Queen. Told her in the face, my independence so you see, sabotage is in their blood. That is what they do. So when you're president, you want to stay focused. You lose guard and then you drag yourself into the gutters. This is what they do best. And I think President Mahama has asserted that he's focused doing his thing. And this particular statement does not mean the president will not sign the bill. Does not mean the president is not against LGBT. But it means that as long as the bill is not on his table, it is not a priority.
Yeah.
That is what it means. Because we are looking at Parliament and civil society, everybody has spoken about it. But the thing is that as long as it is not on the table of the president, it is not a priority now. You understand? So for you to make it a priority, speed up the process and take it to him. So what is this noise about? And because people are not asking them any sensible questions, they think that's okay. I think that my culture says it's better the NPP hire maybe a consultancy firm. Because at this point in time, maybe the embarrassment and the shock from the previous election, still because they are not thinking straight, they are not making sense. Making argument, and the poverty of wit is very shocking. Common sense is missing, logic is missing. All that they are good at making noise. And then as if I say, obisi Koko we to the idea of a petition asante. Na asante no nya den.
Obeto.
Asante into Koko no nko we anon fan kwye nkwan. You see, they don't make sense. That is what I'm telling you, that they need to hire a consultancy firm. So at this point in time, our head is in the freezers. You will need somebody to think for us. Somebody bet to me, I bridge the gap between us and Ghanaians. Because you see, the gap between the MPP and Ghanaians, I say Hannah Burkina Faso. So you need to be reasonable to be able to bridge that particular way, but consistently, they are widening the gap. And 1 year, 2 years, President Mahama, Abayemu, they will take you over. Obey a mistake back, obey me, but take unpopular decisions in as a forum. So the relationship between you and the people, wide back. Now opposition, fill the gap. But today, that is the opposite. The opposition is setting afar. And more shout to be a crunch of voice. And the president and the governor has been in power and still enjoys this particular thing. We will be a strategic personality politics as out in chair. You should be worried. Because some of these press conferences that they do, what has been the outcome? The why no more no more press conference in corner cocaine besita makisu ekosisa. Nipana all leader was a coward. And today that same coward has the infantry to mark the way, put up this your friend is saying press conference as a and this person you want the average Ghanaian now or not what shall see all politics I say senior politics with Nyansa to respect these people. That's what I'm saying, that we must begin to drop this title on our because some people don't even deserve it. You understand?
All right.
Oh, people should be called by their names because it's embarrassing to be calling people.
Mr.
Yeah.
So, Mr.
Most of yes, a lot of them are good. They are doing good job.
Yeah.
But some don't merit the title. Even the beginning age, they don't even merit it, let alone the ON. Oh.
All right. I don't see your first topic. I don't know. The last time I saw Honorable and the appear could be a Greek British. I'm catching this Honorable. But you know, say me you free more. I say, oh yeah. Because I don't know a bit to say Honorable oh the name Baba Sadiki compete here cry. Yeah, Patrick Buama. I think there are the few people on my gentle kakra.
Yeah, it's about how you conduct yourself.
Charlie.
You see, that old model of politics, aggression, that kind of and the average Ghanaian no sebi neniate. Or person or Kenyans are some children conventional. But some way be say yo mu bi kasa boom panini kasa o Kenyan say wo ma kete by the bebre akra any respect amount. Ebi no mu ye many of the press conferences on my stage and you didn't say we make a crabby. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, my mom for Bamubu. Now, besides, over the years, I'm crowing and then you understand why we are still broken as a country. They don't even value young people, they don't even value Nipana Yawono. They think sitting on their high horses, governance is all about me da VAT masheko to kafu koba na yeye me onabo. E duru Christmas and 200 Ghana chama for oba na watia o na bo aba o. Sam cross politics na twam. It is about empowering people, being the voice of the voiceless. That is politics.
Ako jina ho se mi be jina mu ama Ghana na mum America fo na bi na be po bi no wagina mu ama yen as lawyer se wo court honom. Extradition bi anko yo. Se extradition na eti kuroma ye dede no. Enko ye e na judge na ye last thinking say beba ade na ama ebesi ne e no ma je ne passport. I say omo yi na free detention. Frank Davis ne lawyer ni enra mi tie se no wakasa no na epinso. O se besi ne special prosecutor officially on for charge bia more Ken Ofori-Atta. It is 70 count to say why na OSP no say no office special prosecutor Albert Lex say you know ye ni baby cross allegations no e fire any baby or the call but according to the lawyer no officially Ken Ofori-Atta receive bibia na me na nipa na mukoro ni head no ko receive we say I so far baby Andrew Ken Ofori-Atta dwane a wadwane no ho no.
Yeah, it's very shameful, and my culture said this whole thing. The best person to blame in this regard, this criminal fugitive called Ken Ofori-Atta, our Ghanaian who is evading accountability under the guise of Mayare, because nothing shows. Obi went to me under detention, what to me under prison for almost like 3 weeks, and then as for they went to be almost a month. Went to be Kasawayare. So he's in the hill state. If he's ready to come and answer and go back, he will. But the bottom line is that he has decided not to come back to this country and answer for his crimes. So if there is anybody to blame, he is. Because yeah, I win him.
Yeah.
Under Akufo-Addo government, you know, Nema Bebre Sisi, Kronoa Eya Nimguasia Koso, they destroyed the economy. They chased media people out of this country. They did a lot of horrible stuff to the extent that institutions like Bank of Ghana, monetary policy, ran into a debt. We defaulted both on external debt obligation and internal debt obligations. DDEP, other people, but the biggest crime of Akufo-Addo's government against the people of this country is the lack of trust and confidence Ghana for in the political establishment. And that is the most dangerous thing the government did. And to post Akufo-Addo dangerous government, you know, the best thing President Mahama will have to do is to foster that trust and confidence and return. Come on, catch us in any democracy, a trust and confidence. Man for no repose in that establishment. You know? And the very moment you see people withdrawing that trust, it becomes fragile and it will break from within. So what's the Sri Lanka, what happened there? the people sustain it. Army, soldier, wine, you can't do nothing. It is about trust. So Akufo-Addo buying no Emma trust and confidence in political parties, political establishment, governance, politicians. Escalate to its lowest level. That was a danger. Is the reason why Ghana came so close to a coup d'etat. Nipa or your executive in that government, you know. Your friend say omra na omeyina no na ose oma. Make that notion say these people were unwitting criminals who took over this country and messed the country up and have decided that because of their crimes they will not come. So the first person to blame in this particular instance is Ken Ofori-Atta as an individual, and then to his own political party, whom some people today are able to gather momentum in parliament and defend Ken Ofori-Atta's decision not to come back to this country. These people think they are representing the interests of this country. This guy messed this country up. So now the notion is that people within the house there, you can mess up. I told you, that is why I got pissed off when I heard said there is a bill being introduced to parliament about foreigners, Ghanaians with double passports. That is absolute nonsense. Yeah, because Ken Ofori-Atta situation fully Ghanaian without any external way or no Ghana. How much more will be our Ghanaian, American, or Canadian? No, they are not betting the you can put up whatever extradition process as long as the person is a citizen of another country. You can never force the person to come. And today, honesty has proven to be resourceful in our politics. Anybody, people you can trust today can run away tomorrow. Because if Ken Ofori-Atta or the Bible na cross Google ni koma and see say maybe book and they were done. Oh, Hannah Wunguno. The when I bet me trust in the BM. The quote to Bible verbatim. I your friend saying, Parliament. Or Casa, I say, your friend saying, yes, you offer here. Or no, we're gonna. Now, when be a bit me trust in so, or Yana Bamu Gane. So that is the basic thing we are talking about. And then back to the indictment, and as a phone, I have to follow through whether this indictment thing, because there are a lot of miscommunication, and I'm hoping to hear from the special prosecutor if the indictment is available. Because the processes involved in this whole thing are two things. The detention process, are different from the extradition process. Yeah, and they're different. Yes. So the extradition, the court will come, maybe I will can. But when the indictment is submitted, it has to go through processes. Again, lawyers representing both parties, they must be, briefed. Now, details of how argue pointed and so forth. So that might have delayed the process. But I am not sure that the indictment is still in the country. And I think special prosecutor and man at the private office. If it becomes quite clear, said the indictment as was being bandied around on social media, and young Koyana and mad the private chasing from the office because it will affirm the fact that indeed he's in cahoots with these gangs who have decided to disrespect Ghanaians under the guise of Mayaren and this kind of nonsense. But the distinction must be made clear. He being in detention different from the extradition process. So the extradition, we are waiting to see what is going to happen in the coming days. I don't want to go into details of this whole detention thing because I don't know Ghana government any hand in it. If the US government watching and based on whatever prevailing way has decided to let him go since his passport and so forth, it's an internal exactly. By the extradition process, you're making sure that the indictment will have enough weight. And as long as this thing a prolonged, because the state has shown enough willingness and commitment to bring this guy to this country. The person fighting it not to come a Ken Ofori-Atta. And the state is doing and yes, you bet him the soldier for who come we need to walk through the process. So Obi Obetimi save we out of this whole thing Ken Ofori-Atta. But if he has decided not to come, then Ghanaians must begin to see him for who he is and the party he represented. My God said, "Yana hire Jose Ken Ofori-Atta finance minister, hey, or no a finance minister." Ne wafana na wanya ne your friends are my mobi na no obu na wafre no. So he saw himself as a caretaker of a certain village pharmacy bi na wafa de. The open all day. Uyamaka o hia para no yase otene girlfriend ho opa na oba o meyaduro ma unya bi nto ba bia. That was the manner they were running this country. And today, this guy has left this country and has decided not to come. It's a shame. I'm back to the NPP as a political party who see nothing wrong. We see they adduce certain comic ways. Oh, and metunu for some man now ba oh ina fair hearing. Now who to do for so be yes wa bo man no chrono man. Why not? Now, best practice on prosecute wine. Now, will you have the moral audacity to make any reasonable argument about convincing Yansani say President Emfa Obi and prosecute no? When the person in your own government, who said the kutu pass manema under the guys say oba, you bet you know your man fair hearing. Yeah, President Mahama ba ye. It's been almost way when I have found children na kwase prison in Nasem. So why would Ken Ofori-Atta be an exception? It means that he feels he's guilty as charged, and there is no way he can exonerate himself from the entanglement. And it was quite clear. Some of the decisions he took were so nasty to the point that maybe he thinks he cannot answer this. So he uses some of this international kind of cover just to prolong our stay. And that's exactly, and away MPP near, you should be ashamed. Because if you return back, or if you go back to 2028, to tell the people to give you the vote, they will ask you, say, what is the guarantees of Unyane?
Yeah.
And you see, this is something people are not availing because the average voter is very smart and very intelligent. Oh, Kotwaba Mobia or Channel Hell Sika Semsu Obegane. Atofo was in this country at the heat of Ghana campaign. He was facing prosecution. At the same time, he was doing his job. Today, he's the finance minister. He is not a coward. He didn't run away. Today, this spineless coward. And you have people on various TV stations talking arrogantly to the people of this country as if they are sitting on the moon. So these are empty noise makers who are very arrogant. I'm not sure any Ghanaian should take them serious. We are watching the process, yeah. Now, remember, say, as long as Ken Ofori-Atta stays, it's an indictment on the NPP. It is an indictment on President Akufo-Addo, and it is an indictment on Ken Ofori-Atta and his family. Because in the future, the references will be made. Oh, papa, never boy, or minor chrono, gonna will be mine. So, that's all better who are not so back. That is up to them. But his children will forever be reminded of the iniquities of their father, who became a criminal fugitive, fled his own country after becoming a finance minister. And you think, if your children can take this thing kindly, that's up to you and your family. So, we are not losers. Ghana will never lose in this particular contest between Ghana and Ken Ofori-Atta, because we have shown ready, prepared, do everything, and every mind out there will attest to the fact that the state has shown willingness and readiness just to ensure, say, this fugitive will come back and answer. And now you baby near my city. But if he has decided to fight the system, if he has decided not to come, then Ghana will see them for who they are, and by extension, Parliament, minority, and the NPP as a political party. President Akufo-Addo ain't to me in Fafon country Ken Ofori-Atta say, hey, but because you staying there is a huge embarrassment on me. But this is a shameless bunch of individuals. They have no sense of shame, so they don't see this thing as an indictment. But I'm telling you, sir, the rational voter who will be going back to the polls 2028 to vote will ask this relevant questions. And Nipana made abano man on what is the guarantees of China own Ghana. That's what will be Ghana. These same people will be patting his back, say Ghana. And can you trust that person and give them political power? So MPP is digging its own grave. By your grave or more digging, they are digging the grave with a teaspoon. Now, just imagine, say, that today, the amount, nearly 2 years, for 2 amana, I did see you. But, that's why sadly, until we have from day one, based in there, or move go, many masses, and I make us a coup for the time. I'm some cobo bosom bossing, and we will feel no one could here. And the bosom has decided to disgrace them. Or even from power to today, they continue to disgrace themselves. Because sometimes, Panini Casana, and how we have cracked and chance, hey. Na hakwa obi na kasa fa ni mu ana so no ana kasa because in some of your heart in China is obi ahu obi atwam ho enti me kasa o man na yare a o man be ya ayade o enti o man a odwen sei no nyankopon to gold bakra na ya wutimi fa ye because wonim nyansa And this is why sometimes I don't blame our professor on best I go to the core. Sometimes I'm for say colonization about from colonization maybe an kasa mre brass editor as a crank wouldn't be you. Kasa what change chaba be or timura ma what ya boy ni muno na we.
Some
Every colonization chaba. What in Murama, which is equal as what I say. So we need to appreciate the reality where we are. Now I'm building on. By the be your claw back, your pet will be a blue muno. Now you're finding your Macata to be as I when you want to take responsibility. I win you down. And so we have few man. Some Bayman Catachina, Mamma, someone umpire, Bobby and before I am. One who's be a year. Because on you ready to admit say or no for to do free no but before being there no and life as long as you are able to find somebody to blame you are done unye that until from empire bobia a to empire bobia bisa no de konyan kwase accident no de wu na asamasa what I say. So I think we must begin to appreciate say yan kasa no you be accept responsibility na ya ye dey say ya na ya wuchi empire bobia nyan kwase accident na benya wu wo nya wadwen say wo besesa I probably if you walk. When you want to so I be one or take here baby na wo di wani ono na nyame ahira na wadi 90 years no to me too ya anka ya faza edu anajo anya no say Accra to Washington
no atu akwa
na wo kokwa so aboka amanfo akwa America wo du airport afa mensansi wachi a wo ju $1,000 cross out there. Yes. Wow. You see, those realities don't exist. But your mind, because we are lazy thinkers, you're free to be there. And that is the same thing today. We sit here and say, oh, and now Abrofuna say go do mujabi. Humans now want to be quiet. They be car say, they are
Nipa no mo koye.
And lucky enough, Africa is the continent or the largest UFO population. Enya mrante ya na na Middle East and na Arab for mu biare Arab mere wade na se for no min dia de omo yemu omo ya for mo nya hwe mpanifo bi so kasa boom boom keti ha the last out the kan ya
o se eti se kube
enti oman a recognize nkokorafo respect me near the nam na young people no yemu omo for mo nya hwe omo future no sa man no nya yida. And that is signature. And I'm a catcher so couple Cameroon. Come for Pobi and the president. Pobi are winning. Omo the man because oil potato vegetable basic play one of the countries Maka no more na kusi ho for 4 good years or more mining now lieutenant no running the show. Election ba be don o makotam na dena because no na ni hu na so nte asem or your potato do see when I am the president but kwabrane to abama no na obisa on say adenti na continent with the most useful population there bia nkwakorafo de to abama is the reason why I support the bill on what they cause after 65 years nobody should go to parliament.
Yeah, what are you going to do there?
Look, yeah, no. Okay, America, yes, I understand 70, but yeah, no, and we are not as for 50 years a crown or sabi. I didn't na campus 60 way. Opa sa what see here ku for do mamu adamai. Is the reason why Ghana for didn't see account say 70 years opa mamu unless you show exceptional capacity and capabilities be because Africa we are as for no would this 70 go in a judgment not trusted it becomes a problem. Yeah, there are some would find judgment and as for but majority what I say. So I think we need to look at all these things and make things right.
All right, thank you, Mama Sha said. So far comments no say kakra bia be kan ho men kan na yen fa last topic no and to aso. And then the Ebenezer na say osibi so pa o. Asabe no na so de my idea Ebenezer. My idea na wan kasa wo be so be pene me ho. And it's okay, all right. Remember now if making kind there e wo ho ni bi e the amount say me network no you very slow. Yeah, cocoa prices and come aba na ekọ say bre ya ni vote wan so won se wam do agiri so that when the vote to cow ho send the vote now so and no the police for near soldier for fair muna or the quarter parliament still now what so ba same crofo na no ade be tumu and say or be tro petition akwa otum for say President Mahama and tukoko buomu na wantua sika na o kan so betua na the petition echo na me say be as a member of parliament ko betimi the private member bill bi akọ parliament on ko wa hye president say nko won hwe no wontua petition there anyway.
Yeah, so if I tell you say common sense is no longer a friend of the NPP, you should understand. Because writing a petition in the governance architecture of this country, chieftaincy
it's not part of it.
It's not part of it. On the sidelines, they can prevail on the president, advise him, those kind of sidelines. We know the relationship between president and the Otumfuo and other chiefs. That is on the sidelines. But when it comes to the governance structure proper, chieftaincy isn't part of it anywhere.
Yeah.
You understand that? So if you feel aggrieved or anything, and you think you or petition Otumfuo na onya den, or petition onya den, Otumfuo ti Kumasi, when your friend is saying MPP was in power, or no na original social media were asking money for people to go and do repair Afenyo. Na samre no well your friend say Annoh-Dompreh wunyansa who say anyo hene na say okra your friend say hospital na mom as aban your power no we have to go and help him. Did you see Akufo-Addo government making any effort or you know kwa support I don't know you know. Now President Mahama asi a medical village e Kumasi. They left it to rot. When wunyansa nkasa sabi Otumfuo area ni enti nana ye baba kura hospital na maun. President Mahama built your friends a market.
Yeah.
Kumasi, several of them. They left it 8 good years. I'm not watching. When Hunyan petition Otumfuo say, Nana, you say na Yahunti Ababa Yama. These are jokers who should not be taken serious. Or petition Otumfuo na Onya Den. Kobo President Mahama and Asa for 2 and Onya Den. I'm saying, say, yeah, and what is the issue at stake? There is no issue. Yeah. President Mahama has done his best by making sure, say, he is paying cocoa farmer every bit of money we get from the FOB price. So what the hell is he talking about? When was the last time in the history of this country that you heard that a president to be at 90% of an FOB price to Obi Okroma say? And President Mahama was very smart and very intelligent in his promise. He did not use nominal figures. Some cocoa farmers 50 million, 90 million. He said 70% of the FOB price, and that was reasonable because you can't give what you don't have. And today he is gone ahead to give 90%, and you are on the sidelines making noise. Now on the call world market cocoa price and also because commodity near but any determine price. Somebody is sitting somewhere in Washington and London. I'm gonna determine how much cocoa should be bought. And price is not dropping. And you think you can blame the president for that? And today all things being equal, no. Cote d'Ivoire for no more share or say. They are pay cocoa, I say 15 million. 10 million and a difference between your normal 1,000 Ghana cedis. You see, these are shameless bunch of individuals. And Nipabian, as I'm walking, and I make us say a three-way at parliament here, and I say because this particular three-way should not be in parliament. Because this particular way, it is not within Otumfuo's purview to intervene in this. At the time, Otumfuo needed the MPP when the MPP was in power.
They did not mind him.
You didn't mind him. The man was asking people were donating money. And Sana, or they go to Komfanochi Hospital, the last 8 years, you didn't do anything there. There will be a Siama or we you say and today these jokers have their infantry in them villages. Your friends say, they are not even farmers. Because I say Mahama what the encouragement we had a scene where the cocoa. Exactly. So you see, this is part party are degenerating into a comedy kind of way and listing jokers and toys, and then this guy has become some sort of a meme on social media. I don't know your comedy.
Yeah,
I will say he's looking for sponsors and then as a phone. Now we all cocoa farm benya da jabe disanse mu o he na se egu nanuma we ye de cocoa so the omonam na omoma man for sika na mudi din sebunu what asem na make no but because the real cocoa farmer na oti ekurase no they understand the dynamics. It is very difficult, but yet they understand say a challenge number because abra president buy your car so butua ye ka no cocoa no otum dollar na so te and then the situation is different. President is carrying us along and he is coming up with a regulation. That regulation is say ye ba be ye na mrakete say aban bia ni ho a obeba obetua less than 70% of the FOB price. Cocoa na yetono. Ya say syndicated na ye kokogene ya nkogene abontin biem. Ye ba ba je free Ghana for ha ye be raise cocoa bond. Wo usika ne misika ene ye de beto cocoa. Ama me no wa ye se nya so mfaso. Na ya de be na chain we. This intervention you did not put it forward because make us microphone e binye cocoa farmer no omo ankasa na ba abontin because akoya make us na sinyina tutu ono amanfo kwa interview also onye cocoa farmer no ndo tini ba bi no mba frɛ no what asem na make no and these people and when Abraham koso ebi mba akra it was the same thing and the Obaka say atonu cocoa 11 years and the when you the win credibility to come back to power this comedy this joke when you know say Nema why you know Ghana for William Fee. I think the comedy within the that is what I'm saying say and mpanimfo no mudi party ni nyina so mo de dawo so obi in the news adenyo and these people are taking the center stage and mugu party n'anim say because the leader of the party in parliament Afenyo marking kasa bobo we odinati so arrogant or and some can be anywhere nyansa wo and today he's in the village amassing jokers and then lying to them who are not even cocoa farmers you understand so I think that as long as they continue to do these things political party no prospect no say no because I believe say Ghana no yeah opposition party yes sane responsible abe match aban no boot for boot in policy discussion you come up with alternative be better ha no pai maka say your friend say bolaka na nam kroma no mama solution say we can do it between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. whatever way be a do daytime no ball ya bolaka go prison simple as that say ya yam pollutu. Do you see that discussion must be solution oriented? So opposition, that is what you do. So that people in the middle will see you and say, hey, say almost because they are coming out with policy intervention, reasonable and so forth. But consistently, no, who go anymore say, and these guys parade themselves as a mini briefcase full of arrogance and ignorance. No more than time. Because in politics, you know, communication is very, very important. Yeah, the way you speak, how you speak, and those kind of stuff account it. But what transform you into a mini briefcase full of arrogance and that kind of ignorance, and you think you can capitalize on arrogance and political sentiment. Now what they are driving home will lies. It will not fly because the consumers of the political market today in Ghana, being young people, the aged, the old, everybody has come to understand and appreciate politics to a certain extent. It is about what is being done. And today, President Mahama has demonstrated clearly, he's really committed to fixing this broken economy by coming up with interventions. And Bosia Krana Yaboya, young carbon think of Bosia. Manemem Kyei Kamene, a krum here bond. There is this bond that is coming up. I don't know whether it has been floated or not, but it's a 7-year bond that CD denominated. We are Ghana new Osika. You can go and invest. Ghana haya yankobobo sian from abonte CD denominated, so there is no fluctuation. And $9 is in $9 and so forth. That is how you bet me rely on our potential to ensure say as a minor we move on. Today the president has turned every nook and cranny of this particular country into a construction site. And road construction going, even road na ye constructed on Tiasi.
Yeah, so sourcing.
And I say for them. I have back on that particular thing. See, sir, road contract this year, no. President Mahama decided, say, under the big push, you know, Onono who roll out 1,144 kilometers of road. The cost estimations are around 50 billion thereabout, or the yearly road. But unfortunately, Yenuanom about 735 kilometers of road contract either underfunding, no funding, then as a form amount for free coin so the president estimations around 15 billion. We will be running around 65 thereabout, and other Canadian who running into 1,700 and something kilometers of road for the year. But you see, the sole sourcing bit of it, majority has to do with the 735 kilometer of road already had contractors. But because it's being classified under big push, you know, you have to count it differently.
Yeah.
So the contractors on it, because for instance, Oko Junction Mall, Lashibi, your friend is saying, Nungwa Road now. That particular road, you know, so being sadada, Sika Neniho, and a Nippon abandoned road, you know. Yeah, I want to be in Gaza with the big pusher, but what is our kind of account, you know, what they command another contractor. So you have to single out that contractor. Now they are mano. So in that particular way, under the big push, it may be seen as your friend is saying sole sourcing, but in reality, and yes, sole sourcing because it is an inherited project. I don't know if you get the argument.
Yeah,
and there are a lot of the roads are almost starting here. I bind into me because I am maybe I was second one to why you do a majai. Yet me Jim through some. But automatically you become a sole source contractor. You continue under a big because it becomes a new because it is under a new umbrella called big push. So you will be counted, and once you are being counted, it will appear under the big push umbrella as a sole source contract. But any sole source in the past, you went through all the tender everything before it was awarded to you. So that's why I'm saying that when we are talking about some of these things, we need to do proper investigation and understand. We are very much concerned about sole sourcing because you see over the years, I'm for you to the deans and and as it stands now, for a state investigation, and I was expecting at least on combat me or yes sole source, but road none can cost near 1,000 or the common will be 2,000. That is wrongdoing. That is legal infraction. And now say road or the comma will be this near only Riba and that's the only way. President Mahama says some of the AFN say I've been crowd by some of the NPP because as long as they have the capacity, which many people have issue with that. But the truth is that if you don't have the capacity, how do you execute? So some of these things, were not chanced on in their investigation. So my point is, putting it out there, was it for moral clarity or what? But politically, you can't be grudging because, and even legally, there is no legal infraction. Because if there is anything to blame, you pick the Procurement Act. That act is sick, especially the Section 40 that creates allowance for sole sourcing. Your friends are single source. Your friends are limited window. Exactly, because the law, even though it's narrow in scope, proper rendition, there is nothing that you can do, you cannot do and justify within the frame of Section 40. So if your power, let us amend the Section 40 and create a very strict, specific intervention that may use any manner. But as long as Section 40 stays, anybody who wants to do sole sourcing can find justification within that particular realm, and you cannot do the person anything. So you see, sometimes Kasano Dawson, we must begin to think policy-wise, intervention-wise, how you get to me as solve basic problems rather than pinpointing individuals and push blame on and say, oh, you are verified because muyebi. Yes, so is because muyebi. Oh yes, sir. When we I'll be able to win answer. But the dynamics may be different. And today, Adeba Ntim Kantia, President Mahama government, and they say road no kind is fake. They are fixing the road. Contractors are on site. They are doing. And what to kind in recent the more to kind Eastern and so forth, you can attest to the fact that contractors are on the road. My culture from Sunyani to somewhere Sampa road among focus on more. So some of these things, I think that the truth will always prevail over lies and this concocted propaganda among folks seek to peddle in the name of politics. That cheap version of politics is gone. Ghana for are very assertive, they understand the issues, they really want the key issues to understand. That is the most important thing. The rest, you can do your noise, you can do your politics, but Ghana for will not take you serious. It's the reason why since now NPP still fighting for credibility. but they haven't realized it. Opposition by a press conference, we not when I do what them. Now by now we press conference at Tiano.
Near Bonabaso.
Go on social media.
After that, no, we send and be a post to big push turn to big loot. No, no, comment section. I dear, what the I don't know.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.